Hello everyone, this is Anas. In this video, we are going to discuss poem Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. The video is divided into some sections like introduction to poem, summary of the poem, what are the themes, important themes in poem, and the structure of the poem. Mother to Son by Langston Hughes was first published in 1922 in the magazine Crisis, dedicated to promoting civil rights in the United States, and was later collected in Hughes' first book, The Very Blues, in 1926. The poem describes the difficulties that black people face in a racist society, alluding to many obstacles and dangers that racism throws in their way. Obstacles and dangers that white people don't have to face. At the same time, the poem urges that black people can overcome these difficulties through persistence, resilience, and mutual support. The poem is closely related to the hardships faced by the African Americans in the early 20th century. During this era, racism and discrimination against the black community were rampant in the USA. Separate schools, living areas, and working places were allocated for black people. They were not allowed near the white community members. Hughes was a huge advocate of black rights. His poem Mother to Son indicates many hindrances and risks that African Americans face in their daily lives due to racism. This piece is one of his most popular and relatable. Readers of all backgrounds can come to this poem and feel themselves either in the shoes of the child or the mother, or perhaps both. It's very emotional piece, one that is meant to a reminder of life hardships and, and an inspiration for strength needed to persevere through them. Mother to Son by Langston Hughes uses the metaphor of a staircase to depict the difficulties and dangers one will face in life. So, this was a short introduction to the whole poem, in which we discussed that the basic concept of the poem is to describe the hardships one has to face in the life. And these hardships are basically described with the help of a metaphor, which is a staircase. And mainly, these people describe the poem describe the hardships faced by African Americans, but in general, everyone can relate to this poem. Now let's do a summary of the poem, like what are the main important points in the poem. The poem is conversation between mother and son. The mother initiates conversation saying that her life has not been easy. She has faced various hurdles and difficulties in her life. She describes the various impediments in her life as tacks, splinters, and torn boards. She says that the stair which she is trying to climb is not carpeted, which implies that her life path had not been a luxurious journey. Nevertheless, her perseverance enables her to keep on struggling in life, Even when she is unable to see in the dark, she is still resilient. At the end of the poem, at the end of the poem, the mother commands her son never to lose hope. She instructs him to keep on climbing the stairs and never think about going down in life. She reminds him that he must always think about the hardships faced by his mother and keep on fighting against his exhaustion. The main themes in the poem are racism, perseverance and courage, despair and hope, and mother as a role model for the child. Now let's talk about the structure of the poem. Mother to Son is a 20-line poem that is contained within one stanza of text. Hughes composed the text in free verse. This means that there is no pattern of rhyme or rhythm, but poem is lyrical in nature. So, conclusively, this was all about poem Mother to Son by Langston Hughes, in which we discussed that the mother of son basically surface the hardships faced by the African Americans in the early 20th century, and in general, everyone can relate to this poem. And in this poem, there is a conversation between mother and son, and in this poem, mother initiates the conversation saying that her life has not been easy, and she also commands her son that never lose hope, and she instructs him that always go up and never let yourself going down. The basic themes in the poem are racism, perseverance and courage, and despair and hope, and mother as a role model. The poem's 20 line, which is contained in one stanza, and the text is free verse, and there is no specific rhyme pattern in the poem, but the poem is lyrical in nature. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that the video will be helpful.